General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, 26 years ago yesterday, the great Ronald Reagan with that wonderful, wonderful address, and we all know how the historical ramifications of that and the value of that. Joining us right now is the son of Ronald Reagan, Michael Reagan, also president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation. Hello, Michael.
Hey, it's good to be with you. You know, listening to that, which was 26 years ago yesterday, and it was interesting, he gave that speech 26 years after the Berlin Wall, in fact, went up. But
yeah.
My wife and I have a small little foundation called Reagan Legacy Foundation, and in 2009 we opened up a Reagan exhibit at the Checkpoint Charlie Museum in Berlin. Until we did that, there was no really mention of Ronald Reagan. In fact, for the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, there was no mention of my father, no mention of Margaret Thatcher, two small mentions of Pope John Paul, and nobody talked about who built the wall, how the wall came down, no mention of communism, nothing of the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, and the conquering hero of the 20th anniversary was none other than Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yeah, no, that's
just to let you know. But this year,
that's too bad. Yeah, too bad.
This year, my little foundation, we finally, after 3 years of working with the Red government of Berlin, got the okay to put a plaque in the ground at the Brandenburg Gate, where my father gave that speech 26 years ago yesterday. So it is now dedicated in the ground. You walk on it.
That is
in Berlin,
great.
so we're able to do that.
That is great. That is great. Well, listen, you wrote a piece at townhall.com, a Father's Day message, and I'm a dad, diminished in society through the media, through television shows. It's not.
Yeah, I mean, I said this when I eulogized my dad in 2004. I said, my father, because I'm a product of divorce, my father never forgot his first family, my sister Maureen, nor myself. He didn't, when he divorced my mom, say, I divorced the whole family. Too often today that also happens, along with the fact that media and television and movies and so on and so forth, always depict the father as a bumbling fool that you really don't need. Moms can do everything. Well, some moms have to do everything. That's true. But it doesn't mean we should diminish fathers when you think that 24 million children will go to bed Father's Day without a father in the home. That's unconscionable what's going on in the United States of America. When you look at the damage that's done to a child, how many end up doing drugs? How many end up in suicide? How many drop out of high school? How many end up, incarcerated because there was no father or father image in the home where they grew up? And those are facts. You don't have to make them up. They're there. Those are facts. Fatherless homes.
Absolutely. Tell us, Michael. I mean, I love to have a catch with my son. I've been having catches with him. I've been blessed to do that for years and years and years. What did you do with Ronald Reagan? I mean, because obviously his schedule wasn't like my schedule is. Actor, politician, governor, president, right on through the whole cycle. So what kind of dad was he to you? What were the quiet moments? What was the one-on-one time? Because people love to know this.
Well, the one-on-one really the drives out to the ranch that we'd make on Saturday morning. We'd pick me up, me and a friend, or just myself, and drive out to the ranch. And, we go out there. God, we rode horses. We chopped wood. We went swimming. In the afternoon, we used those terrible assault weapons, a .22 semi-automatic, to go out and shoot ground squirrels in the afternoon. Oh, my gosh. But we did things as father-son things. And this is the way he would teach me. I mean, hunting ground squirrels was more than just hunting ground squirrels. Hunting ground squirrels became a way to try to teach me patience, to wait for that ground squirrel to pop back up. And we used to hunt ground squirrels because they put holes in the ground. He was raising thoroughbreds, didn't want the thoroughbreds to break a forelock or whatever by stepping in a hole. So, teaching me how to swim. He taught me how to swim by just picking me up and after a while, just throwing me in the deep end of the pool to my mother's amazement. And he said, well, listen, he knows how to swim. He didn't know what a life jacket's for. Don't worry about it. And I swam. We played tag in the pool. And those are the things he would do. But you know what I used to give him a bad time about?
What?
I used to just, you got to find ways to rib your father. I used to go up to him and say, Dad, so that day that you and Art Linkletter and Robert Cummings, the day you opened up Disneyland back in the 1950s, well, yes. I said, was there some point during the day you thought to yourself, I should have brought the kid? And he just looked at me and said, well, no. I just wanted to know. But that's one of the things I used to kind of rib him about, like, did you think about bringing the kids to Disneyland?
That is great. That's a good one. That's a good ribbing. That's a funny one. We're talking to Michael Reagan here, president of the Reagan Legacy Foundation, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. You had an encounter with President Obama, I believe, at the opening or the ceremony prior to the opening of the Bush Library.
Well, I talk about that in my father's message too. And people need to remember, if you read my dad's, what's the verse at his gravesite in Simi Valley, and people who see it will know exactly what I'm talking about. He talks about finding the good in everybody. And so that's kind of what I try to do sometimes. I get myself in trouble with my conservative friends because I'm looking for good. And so I tell the story about, having coffee. The President, Bush, had invited other family members, first family members, to come and have a private coffee with the 5 presidents prior to the opening of his library. So there was the Johnson kids and Susan Ford and Christian Nixon, myself and my family, and the 5 presidents. And I went up to President Obama, whom I've never met, and I said, President Obama, nice to meet you. My name is Michael Reagan, and as you know, I disagree with you about everything you do politically, but let me tell you something I really appreciate you for. I appreciate the fact you're a good father and a wonderful husband who still dates his wife, and I want to thank you for that. And he looked at me and said, well, thank you very much for the compliment. And so I talk about that, in relation to the point of fathers today in America, and we need more role models. And I think Barack Obama, forget the politics for a moment, is a good role model as a father and as a husband, and that's a good thing. And yeah, we'll argue and debate policy later, but on that issue for Father's Day, he needs to truly be uplifted about it, and that's what I do, in that piece talking about that coffee we had with the 5 presidents prior to the opening of the George Bush Library.
You also close the piece by telling fathers or prospective fathers how they could celebrate Father's Day, and that's adopting a foster child.
I'm adopted. There's 400,000 children in foster care today. Over 70% of those children, when they age out, will end up on the streets or in jail. And we're letting them linger there, so many of them. You want to do something for Father's Day? If you don't adopt, go mentor a child who's, in fact, in foster care and help that child have a life, in fact, moving forward. Go where you can help someone else become a good young man, a good person in society. Help that person not have to go to jail or go to the streets or whatever it might be. And I talk about childhelp.org, Child Help USA. That's one of those organizations that, in fact, do help in that type of a situation, in foster care and adoption. Hey, adoption's not bad. Just ask the Reagans.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and ask you. Tell the folks who don't know much about the President Reagan Legacy Foundation what that's all about, Michael.
Well, what I do, we have a scholarship program. We support the young men and women who serve aboard the USS Ronald Reagan. People go to ReaganLegacyFoundation.org to donate if they wish. But that's what we do. We support the kids who serve on the USS Ronald Reagan. We also we opened up the exhibit, if you will, in Berlin in 2009. We're now working on some other situations over in Europe. We do an exchange of students between the after-school all-stars, young inner-city kids in America. We take them to former Eastern Bloc countries to learn what it's like to live without freedom And then we bring kids from Poland and Czech and Germany who were born into a nation that wasn't free, who are now free. We bring them here to learn about America and the president who was at the cutting edge, the spear, if you will, the pointing end of the spear, to allow them to be free. And so we do this child exchange, or high school children exchange, if you will, between countries.
That's great. Michael, one final question as we approach Father's Day is are fathers a species that are on the way out, or can they be saved?
They will only be saved if they fight to be saved.
I agree. You know, I watch Everyone Loves Raymond every night almost on the reruns, and as much as I love the show, you know, listening to the wife call him an idiot and a jerk and a moron, it's kind of sickening.
It really is. And, you know, something else, too. I write in my book, Twice Adopted, which you can get at Amazon.com. I write that, and I'm just going to paraphrase it. Divorce is when two people walk into their child's room, take everything that is dear to that child loves and respects and what have you, and they break it, leave the room, and expect the child to put it back together. We children do not put it back together so very well.
Right. No, very well said. All right, Michael, a pleasure, an honor. And